I got all my stuff out, and I'm going to be doing some builds in a little while, but first I wanted to talk about the Kanger sub-tank, which is an awesome device. This didn't exist when I started vaping. The Atlantis came out around Thanksgiving. I started vaping October 2014. I started on a Kanger EVOD, which got me off cigarettes but wasn't satisfying, and I was infuriated and frustrated as hell. I was a smoker without cigarettes, huffing away at this silly little stick, and after about a week of that bullshit, I went and got an MVP because I watched some videos and people said that was the bee's knees and that was the shizzle. I got that, and I thought I had arrived, and yet it still wasn't gratifying, and I was vaping all day long, and vape tongue was interesting. I'll do another video just on that. And then as I started getting into more videos, and dripping, by the way, they showed me dripping, but it scared the bejesus out of me. It was just freakishly bizarre to me. The guy at the shop had one of these, and I said, how is that in any way, shape, or form relatable to smoking? I just want to stop smoking cigarettes. I didn't want to carry this around, and yet, lo and behold, here I am with a bunch of them, less than 5 months later. So what does that tell you? The learning curve is very steep and sharp and quick, and you can jump from gear to gear to gear in a very short amount of time in the beginning. As you discover, I like this, I want more. I like this, and then you plateau, I want more, because I was used to smoking a pack to a pack and a half a day of Marlboro Red full flavor cigarettes for 26 years. I didn't mouth to lung inhale. I straight up lung inhaled. I consumed cigarettes. I sucked them down, especially in the winter when it's cold out, sucked down a whole cigarette in like 3 drags. So I needed a vapor that was going to be the equivalent in throat hit and volume density, whatever. It felt like this is better than smoking. If I can do this, I would never go back to cigarettes. And I didn't find that for 6 weeks. Now, I got off cigarettes, but quitting smoking, getting off cigarettes, and vaping isn't the same thing as finding that satisfying vape. And it took me probably about 3-4 weeks to find juice flavors that I actually liked, because I did like a smoker. Okay, I can vape this. This is fine. This is accepted. This is tolerable. I'm going to do something wacky here. Oh, no, I'm not. I got Smurf over here from Vaporgate. The stuff is awesome. I'm not crazy about the food coloring in it, but whatever. The flavor is amazing, and in a tank it's great. It is a coil killer. It is a tank killer if you're using plastic tanks. If you're using plastic tanks, throw that shit away or give it to a smoker and vape it forward, and get yourself a Kanger Sub-Ohm Mini or Sub-Ohm Nano, because that stuff didn't exist when I started vaping. If it had, and I had been turned on to it, I might never have gone to dripping, because it's good enough. It's so good to vape on. These tanks is satisfying. You got vapor, you got flavor, you got everything you could ask for. I went to dripping because I wanted control over what I was doing. I wanted to build coils. I wanted to put organic cotton in my build. I wanted to know what I was vaping on, that somebody else hadn't prepared it as just a stock thing, standardized. I wanted a customizable vape experience, and the guy at the shop let me try, 6 weeks into vaping, let me try his mod, and you know, with a mouthpiece, I put like one of those condoms on, and I was like, this is different. I didn't know vaping could be that good. So I went to dripping. Took me about 6 weeks. I watched videos on it. Jake at Long Island Vaporium, good kid, he built my first coil, and I built my second coil, and then that night I went home and tore it out and rebuilt the whole thing again. And then like 2 days later I went and got my first RDA was a IGO-W turd. Festering little stupid turd. But At the time, that was revolutionary, and I got a Tobe clone. I couldn't believe it was only 17 bucks. I thought the guy, like, made a mistake. I felt guilty. I wanted to go back and pay the difference because I saw online that Tobes were like 90, 100 bucks. Then that was my first experience with, oh, there's clones and they're cheap. And that fucking Tobe Addy was awesome. 5 minutes, okay. So I just put the stock coil, it's a 1.2 ohm coil. I don't know, I ran out of 0.5 ohm coils, so I'm using the 1.2s. And that gives me a just as fine and dandy of a vape. I forgot to prime it, so I'm not going to be able to vape on this right away. It has to sit. And I'll just put it off to the side and let that thing sit for a good long while, because it needs to wick. And I'm breaking in a new coil there. Meantime, this did not exist when I started vaping. I would have bought this as a starter kit. This is the basic, you know, it's not an EVOD killer, because there's people that walk in on a budget of 50 bucks and say, that's all I have to spend, and you're not going to get these two for 50 bucks, even if you buy them from me. I mean, I get stuff directly over from China every couple of weeks, but I drop a few grand. So I'll get 10, 20, 30 of these sub-tanks. I'll get 10, 20, 30 of these iSticks. And I sell them for halfway between my cost and brick and mortar. I'm not doing enough volume to muscle in on the brick and mortars, but you know, 80, 85 bucks gets you a setup like this. I spent 50 bucks plus juice when I first started on one Kangaroo EVOD. That got me off smoking. If I'd have found this, I would have been in love, and I would have probably never even needed to go to all this stuff, because this is a satisfying vape. I was not getting vapor production like that until I went to dripping.